gonna take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
He said it on camera, on Ellen's stage, and the audience laughed. Nobody understood what was actually being said.
Diddy, come on out.
Ellen introduced a group of sick children fighting cancer, fighting for their lives, and placed them directly in front of the man who just claimed to control everything about youth in America, like she was completing a transaction.
Legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
40 years old, 15-year-old boy. And Diddy admitted on Ellen's show exactly what they would be doing together, something he couldn't disclose. But here's what nobody connected until now. Ricky Gervais, the same man who exposed Hollywood's Epstein problem to the world, just watched these clips resurface. And he's finally reacting. Because once you see it all together, you can't unsee it. You know Ricky Gervais. He's the guy who stood on stage at the Golden Globes and looked directly at the most powerful people in the room and said what nobody else would say. He called out Epstein. He called out the system that protected him. And when Hollywood got uncomfortable, he doubled down.
I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
That wasn't a joke. That was a man speaking directly to a room full of people who knew, who protected, who stayed silent. And for years, people wrote him off as the edgy guy just trying to get a reaction. But then Epstein died in custody. Then the FBI investigations came. Then the documents. Then the names. And suddenly, Ricky didn't look crazy anymore. He looked like the only person in that room brave enough to say the truth. Now, the thing about Ricky is he doesn't stop. He doesn't move on. He keeps digging. He keeps connecting dots. And recently, when the Ellen Diddy clips started resurfacing with new context, when people started asking uncomfortable questions about why Ellen kept handing young people to a man now convicted of exploitation, Ricky made a statement that changed everything. He said Ellen wasn't just friends with Diddy. She was facilitating. She was introducing. She was, in his words, auctioning off access. And when Ricky Gervais makes an accusation like that, especially after calling out Epstein correctly, people listen. Let's talk about the actual numbers, because numbers don't lie and they don't take requests. Ellen's show ran for almost 20 years. In that time, Diddy appeared on her stage more than 17 times between 2006 and 2022. 17 appearances. That's not a guest spot rotation. That's a standing relationship built over almost 2 decades with the same banter, the same jokes, the same audience laughing every single time. But here's where it gets strategic. Ellen didn't just have Diddy on for ratings. She used him as bait. She used him as the prize. And, most importantly, she used him as the final destination for vulnerable people she brought into his orbit.
Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seen to show up to.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then no, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
Ellen said it herself on camera, I know about them. She didn't just know about the parties, she knew about them in detail. She knew the timeline. She knew how they worked. She knew what carrying on there meant.
What do you do every night till 6 in the morning? You don't go to clubs every night.
No, I make love a lot. No,
That's
Ellen,
my favorite answer ever.
Ellen smiled. The audience applauded. Nobody paused to ask what a man was actually doing every single night until 6 in the morning, night after night, with access to young people in the industry. But that's the key to understanding Ellen's role in all of this. She didn't do the bad things herself. She facilitated the access. She created the normalization. She made it acceptable. She made it funny. She made it relatable. And then she handed people over. The moment that started this entire investigation, the one Ricky won't stop talking about, happened when Ellen decided to bring a group of young cancer patients onto her stage as a surprise for Diddy. Think about what that means. Think about the mechanics of that moment. Ellen knew these kids. She knew they were vulnerable. She knew they were fighting for their lives. She knew Diddy's music had become their anthem, their hope. So she created this beautiful narrative, surprised them with the man whose songs saved their lives.
What is the date today? I completely, Thursday. I was completely wrong, wasn't I? I had the dates wrong all this time. Diddy, come on out.
And when Diddy walked out, the room erupted. Those sick kids lit up. The audience cried. Ellen stood there orchestrating the entire moment. But here's what Ricky is saying, and here's what the new evidence is suggesting. Nobody is claiming anything happened to these specific kids that day. Let's be clear about that. But Ellen took vulnerable, desperate children, kids with compromised immune systems, kids fighting terminal illness, kids with no leverage in the world, and placed them in direct physical proximity to a man who has since been convicted of exploiting young people. And she did it on stage, in front of a live audience, in front of cameras, like it was a heartwarming moment.
Ellen keeps pulling this move. She finds vulnerable people. She finds kids without power. She finds people who need something. And then she puts them in front of Diddy. The cancer kids, the young artists, the people trying to make it in the industry. And Diddy gets to decide what happens next.
That's Ricky's observation. That's not speculation. That's pattern recognition. Because it doesn't stop with the cancer kids. Ellen has done this exact same thing multiple times, and every time she's positioned Diddy as the authority, the gatekeeper, the man with the power to change lives. The Justin Bieber situation is where this pattern becomes undeniable, and it's where Ricky's anger becomes visceral. Justin was 15 years old, a kid, brand new to the industry, signed through Usher, who Diddy claims to have mentored. And Diddy decided he wanted 48 hours with him.
Legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
This is literally the definition of me. And Justin, who was only 15 here, he was new to the industry and definitely very impressionable.
Diddy said it on Ellen's show like it was normal, like taking temporary custody of a 15-year-old for a weekend of activities he couldn't disclose was just part of mentoring in the music industry. And Ellen didn't stop him. Ellen didn't ask follow-up questions. Ellen didn't raise an eyebrow. She was sitting 3 feet away from a 40-year-old man, admitting he was taking a child for 48 hours to do things that couldn't be discussed on daytime television.
I wanted to be a good example, and it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anyone.
Years later, Justin broke down publicly about what he experienced, not specifically naming that 48 hours, but describing an industry that preyed on him, adults who claimed to love him but abandoned him, and trauma that shaped his entire adult life. Ricky's question is simple. Why did nobody connect these dots while it was happening? The answer, because Ellen DeGeneres was the person making the introductions. There's a moment on Ellen's show where she pushes Diddy about his daughters. His daughters are 15 years old. Ellen keeps asking why they're not dating yet. She keeps asking when girls start dating. She keeps pressing.
But it's only 15.
They're not dating?
No, they're not. Not that they better not be dating right now.
They're 15. They've got to have boyfriends or girlfriends or something. That's an age you start being interested.
I didn't know that.
How old were you when you first started getting interested in?
I was wild.
I was different. I was from a whole nother time.
Then Ellen turns it around and asks Diddy if he was the same way at that age. And Diddy confirms it. He says he was wild. Ellen laughs. The audience laughs. Nobody stops to think about what's actually being discussed. A man admitting that at 14 and 15, he was wild and interested in dating. And Ellen is treating it like a casual anecdote. But when you layer that moment on top of the Justin Bieber admission, on top of the cancer kids, on top of the "we control what your kids do" statement, you see the through line. Ellen created an environment where it was acceptable to talk about young people in a certain way. A way that normalized access, a way that normalized interest, a way that normalized the idea that these kids belonged in Diddy's orbit. There's a moment on Ellen's show that nobody talks about, but Ricky is fixating on it because of what it reveals about who else might have known. Twitch was Ellen's executive producer. He had access to everything. He booked every guest. He was in the room for every appearance. And during one of Diddy's visits, something happened that scared him.
One tour, I just did 5 nights in a row. I walked in with an IV.
I know. I walked back there and he's
Okay.
literally holding an IV. You just took that out yourself?
Yeah, let me get to the story real quick. I know it's your show and everything, but I walked out with an IV, and they said, thank you. They said that I would have to stay. I said, no, I have to go. I said I could pull that out myself.
Ricky is asking, what did Twitch hear in that whisper? What made him look like he'd just been threatened? And then, what happened to Twitch? In December 2022, just weeks after Ellen's show ended, Twitch was found dead in a hotel room. Self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to the official report. But his mother didn't believe it. His wife didn't believe it. His friends didn't believe it. Nobody close to him had any idea he was suicidal. There were no signs, no warning, no financial problems, no depression that anyone saw. He just went to a hotel room and never came back.
In December of 2022, Twitch was found unalive in a hotel room not far from his residence. It was revealed that Twitch took his own life due to a self-inflicted wound to the head. When Twitch's mother found out that her son had passed away, she was immediately suspicious and believed that someone had harmed him. Twitch's wife, family, and friends all shared that they were not aware that he was struggling emotionally.
Ricky won't say it outright, but he's implying it. What if Twitch knew something? What if he heard something in that whisper that made him a liability? What if the toxic work environment, the stress of knowing what Ellen was facilitating, finally broke him? We don't have proof, but we have a pattern, and patterns are what Ricky specializes in. This is where Ricky's investigation gets really specific, because it shows exactly how Ellen uses her platform to protect people embedded in the same network as Diddy. Kevin Hart was one of Ellen's closest friends. He appeared on her show more than 10 times. They had built a real friendship. And in 2018, Kevin was announced as the host of the Academy Awards.
Kevin Hart's job hosting the 91st Academy Awards lasted just 2 days. The actor and comedian was announced as the host Tuesday afternoon, but overnight Hart stepped down following an outcry over previous homophobic tweets and comments he made during stand-up routines nearly a decade ago.
Homophobic tweets. It was a scandal. It was immediate. It was undeniable. Kevin Hart was forced to step down. But then Ellen did something remarkable. She gave him a platform to rehabilitate himself.
Over the years, Kevin Hart had become one of the most frequent guests on the Ellen DeGeneres show. So when the controversy exploded, Ellen decided to give Kevin a platform to tell his side of the story. During the interview, Ellen revealed that she had personally contacted the Academy Awards and encouraged them to reconsider their decision. She publicly defended Hart, saying she believed he had changed over the years.
Ellen personally contacted the Academy. She went to bat for him. She used her influence to try to reverse the decision. She made it a personal crusade. Why would she do that? Why would she risk her own reputation to defend Kevin Hart? Because Kevin Hart was part of the network.
It's going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You didn't hear that?
Wow, I didn't hear that one. No.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. I must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
Kevin Hart wasn't just a guest at Diddy's parties. He was a curator. He was a narrator. He was facilitating. He was part of the infrastructure. And when Kevin Hart's past came back to haunt him, Ellen didn't abandon him. She protected him. She defended him. She used her platform to rehabilitate him. Because that's what people in the network do. They protect each other. This is where Ricky's investigation goes beyond Ellen and into the larger system that allowed all of this to happen. Dave Chappelle warned about this years ago. He talked about an entire network of people in Hollywood who use power to manipulate and control Black men in the industry. He talked about being pressured to wear dresses, to degrade himself, to do things that would diminish his brand.
Ran into that with scripts, and is that something that you wouldn't do for?
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. For me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on a talk show this morning.
You look good doing it, though.
Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. At the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times.
Chappelle was describing a systematic network of people who use pressure, shame, and compromise to control talent, especially young talent, especially Black men who might have power. And Ellen DeGeneres wasn't just a bystander in that network. She was an active participant. She had a show that reached millions. She had access to vulnerable people. She had the ability to normalize predatory behavior by laughing along with it on daytime television.
Diddy, I suspect, was engaged in an act of self-defense of sorts by getting blackmail information over a 15-year period on people he had to work with so that he could keep things on an even plane. He found out what a freak he and his acquaintances were, what freaks they were, and a lot of people got disgusted. But that's what I've told folk. When you start ideating on being like the people that entertain you, be careful, because you may be into something else if you emulate them, what they're really about. You see, these people are to entertain you, and that means creating images and impression that may be totally fictitious. So you're basing what you are about on an adult who spent their entire lifetime being about fantasy, make-believe, fiction, and disassociation of the current situation from reality. So be careful. Now, one of the things I don't think Trump wants to do is to diffuse what may come out of this with ongoing investigations that are suggested by what occurred. And in the process, if you pardon him, you may cut yourself off from finding out what else is going on. Like when Diddy first started coming under suspicion, I said, you know what? This sounds like somebody is upset because in 15 years of recordings with all of these freak parties going on, somebody is there that doesn't want that fact to come out or that allegation to come out, so somebody's being protected.
Judge Joe Brown is saying something explosive. Diddy kept recordings on powerful people. He had blackmail. He had leverage. And the reason Diddy hasn't been pardoned is that there are powerful people who don't want what's on those recordings to come out. Could Ellen be one of those people? Could her involvement in facilitating access to vulnerable young people be something that's being protected? Ricky thinks so. And then there are the deaths, the mysterious deaths that happened to people close to Ellen. Anne Hecke was Ellen's ex-girlfriend. They dated from 1997 to 2000. Anne was closeted at the time, and being with Ellen was groundbreaking for both of them. They were the most trailblazing lesbian couple of their era. But when they broke up, Anne was devastated. She spent time in psychiatric care. She struggled. And years later, when she spoke publicly about her relationship with Ellen and the toxicity she had experienced, things got very uncomfortable.
5th of 2022, Anne Heche was driving her Mini Cooper in a neighborhood in Los Angeles when she crashed her car into a home at a high rate of speed just before 11 a.m. After Anne crashed her vehicle into this home, the car went into flames, and shockingly, Anne was not pulled from the car from firefighters until about 11:50. Firefighters were on scene for about 20 minutes before they said they were able to get to Anne in the vehicle due to all of the smoke. When Anne was pulled from the wreckage, she was shockingly still alive. A stomach-turning video that went viral after Anne passed away.
A high-speed crash into a home, a car that went up in flames. Firefighters delayed in retrieving her, and Anne died from her injuries while in a coma.
Surrounding Anne's passing, as when she passed away, she had been working on a project called The Girl in Room 13, which was a movie about a girl who was being sold into trafficking. There is no evidence to support that Anne's life was taken because of this project that she was working on, but many speculate that someone had done something to her vehicle or cut her brakes or something. People close to her said she would never do this on.
Anne was working on a film about human trafficking when she died. Her friends insisted she would never drive that fast on purpose. The crash was catastrophic. The timing was suspicious. Did someone cut her brakes? We don't have proof, but we have a pattern. Ellen's ex-girlfriend, who had spoken critically about Ellen, died in a mysterious car crash while working on a trafficking film. And then there's Twitch, Ellen's producer, the man who heard something he shouldn't have, who died in a hotel room just weeks after the show ended. Two people close to Ellen, both dead under circumstances that raised questions, both silenced before they could say more. Ricky doesn't explicitly connect these deaths to Ellen, but he's asking the questions out loud, and he's asking why nobody else is. Here's the final piece of Ricky's investigation, and it might be the most damning. In 2023, the anti-trafficking film Sound of Freedom became one of the most talked about movies of the year. Celebrities everywhere spoke up. They posted about it. They used their platforms to support a film that directly addressed child exploitation and human trafficking.
Freedom has a message filled with hope and inspiration. The film sparks conversations and encourages people to help end trafficking in their own community. Go see it.
Where was Ellen?
Ellen said nothing. Not a post, not a word, not even a passing mention.
A woman who built her entire career on being relatable, on caring, on being a voice for the voiceless, said absolutely nothing about a film dedicated to rescuing children from exploitation. Why would Ellen DeGeneres stay silent on trafficking when she's been so vocal about so many other causes? Because if she spoke up about trafficking, people might start looking at her own history, at the kids she brought on stage, at the 48-year-old she handed custody of a 15-year-old to, at the pattern of vulnerable people placed in front of predators, at the access she facilitated. Her silence is an answer in itself. So let's line it up, all of it, one piece after another. Ellen brings sick kids on stage and hands them to Diddy. Ellen asks Diddy about his 6 a.m. activities. Ellen knows about the parties running until 3 a.m. Ellen's producer hears a whisper that terrifies him and then dies. Ellen defends Kevin Hart, who hosted Diddy's freak-off parties. Ellen stays silent when trafficking becomes a global conversation.
I'm going to take Your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
That's not just Diddy talking. That's Diddy saying it on Ellen's stage, to Ellen's audience, with Ellen's approval and Ellen's laughter. We control what your kids listen to. We control what your kids dance to. We control everything. And then she puts the kids on stage. That's not a coincidence. That's a system. This is where Ricky stops asking questions and starts making accusations. Ricky Gervais has been right before. He called out Epstein when Hollywood was protecting him. He stood on that stage and said what nobody wanted to hear, and he was proven right by history. Now he's saying Ellen DeGeneres wasn't just friends with Diddy. She was complicit. She facilitated access to vulnerable people. She normalized predatory behavior. She protected people in the network when they were exposed.
Ellen DeGeneres was auctioning access to young people. She wasn't just booking Diddy as a guest. She was using her platform to introduce vulnerable kids to a man she knew was dangerous. And when people around her found out or got caught in the process, she either protected them or they ended up dead.
That's not hedged language. That's an accusation. That's Ricky putting his credibility on the line again, just like he did with Epstein. And the thing about Ricky is that he doesn't make accusations he can't back up. He connects dots. He looks at evidence. He asks the questions that other people are too afraid to ask. The evidence is there. The clips are there. The pattern is undeniable. Ellen DeGeneres built a career on seeming relatable, on seeming like she cared, on seeming like she was on the side of the vulnerable. But when you look at what she actually did when you watch the clips, when you see where she placed vulnerable people, when you notice who she protected and who ended up dead, a different picture emerges. Not the picture of a talk show host, the picture of someone embedded in a network of powerful people who exploited youth and protected each other when exposure threatened. Ricky's final question is this: how many people knew? How many people in that room watching Ellen hand kids to Diddy understood what was actually happening? How many producers, staff members, network executives watched these clips being filmed and said nothing? How many people in Hollywood are still protecting Ellen because she knows what they did?
If you're one of the people who worked on Ellen's show, if you're one of the people in that audience, if you're one of the people who knew and said nothing, this is the moment to speak up. Because Ricky Gervais already did. He already put his name on this. He already made the accusation. And he's not the kind of guy who backs down when he's right.
Because that's what this video is really about. It's not just about Ellen. It's not just about Diddy. It's about the system that protected them both. It's about the people who knew and stayed silent. It's about the network of powerful people who use their positions to facilitate access to vulnerable people and then protect each other when the truth starts coming out. Ricky Gervais has decided to be the person who says it out loud, the person who connects the dots, the person who asks the questions. And now the question is, who else will?